Ladies, these days the Super Bowl is basically considered a national holiday. And if you have a boyfriend, a friend, or a significant other, you're probably not going to be able to tear their eyes away from the TV if they're watching a big game. So my philosophy is, if you can't beat them, join them. And I'm here today to teach you a few techniques to be able to follow the game of football, especially when it's broadcast on TV. And through this, you can connect with your football-loving friends and possibly gain a new hobby for yourself. I know football is confusing, and admittedly, I learned a lot of what I know from playing the Madden NFL video game. And I've been watching football since I was around 8 years old. I watched the Super Bowl that year, and I was instantly hooked. And since then, I've watched a lot of football, and I've gained this knowledge over a very long period of time. So I don't expect you to pick it up right away, even if this is your first experience. Maybe you've watched a few games. But there is really a lot going on in this sport, and I'm just going to give you a couple of the basics so that you can follow a game on TV. So unlike in many other professional sports, professional football players don't play on both sides of the ball. So the best way for me to separate this is by first teaching about the offense and then the defense. And I'm going to show you how the football game will be presented when it's showed on television. And on offense and defense, I'll be highlighting the basic rules, positions, and players on both sides of the ball. So I'd like to begin with the quarterback, or in layman's terms, the guy that throws the ball. The quarterback starts the play by saying hike, and decides whether to throw the ball or to hand it off. The quarterback is in control of the football game, and you'll often hear him compared to a point guard in basketball, if that's a sport you're more familiar with. So who does the quarterback throw to? That's called the wide receiver. Wide receivers are often criticized for being divas, but in the game of football they score a lot of touchdowns, so they're a very important part of the team. The other option for the quarterback is to hand the ball off to the running back, sometimes called the halfback. And there's also a fullback, which is basically a bigger version of a running back. And this is a pretty self-explanatory position. The goal of the running back is to take the ball and carry it and run towards the end zone until he gets tackled by a defensive player. But you'll notice in a football game there are 11 players on both sides of the ball, and not all the players are the quarterback or the running back or one of the wide receivers. So other players you notice are called the linemen. They're basically these big fat guys that stand in front of the quarterback and the running back and try to block the defensive players from tackling them. The linemen are usually these giant 400-pound guys, and they're often underappreciated in the game of football, but they're actually very nimble, and many linemen will take ballet classes to make sure they have quick feet and they're able to block the defense more effectively. So what is the goal of the offense? The goal of the offense is, of course, to score. The offense marches down the field towards the end zone at the end of the field. When a team starts the ball, they have 4 chances to move the ball forward 10 yards. A football field is 100 yards long. If they fail to do this, if they fail to go 10 yards in one of those 4 chances, the 4 chances are called downs, then they'll either have to give the ball back to the other team or punt the ball away. But what if a team succeeds in scoring? This is called a touchdown, when a player catches the ball in the end zone or a running back runs it in. And a touchdown is worth 6 points. After the touchdown, the team will bring out the kicker. The kicker is usually a skinny white guy in soccer cleats who no one on the team really likes. If he kicks an extra point after the touchdown, that is worth 1 point. So a touchdown and an extra point will give the team 7 points. There's one other way to score in football that involves the kicker. If the team is not close enough to score a touchdown, and they don't want to give the ball away, and they've done the 3 plays and haven't gotten 10 yards, they can kick what's called a field goal. A field goal is done by kicking the ball through the yellow goalpost at the end of the field. And a field goal is worth 3 points. So now that you're an expert on offense, let's move to the other side of the ball. The defense is less complicated than the offense, and there's less specific rules that you have to worry about. But on defense, you'll run into some words that you probably have never heard before. So on defense, there's 3 main types of players. You can think of the first line defense, the second line of defense, and the third line of defense. The first are the defensive linemen. They're just the big fat guys again, but they're the ones trying to tackle the quarterback and the running back. Beyond them are what is called the linebackers. The linebackers are kind of the most versatile players on the defense. They'll sometimes rush the quarterback and try to tackle him, but other times they'll move into coverage and try to protect the rest of the field, not just trying to tackle the quarterback. And finally, the third line of defense is called the cornerbacks. Not to be confused with quarterback, who throws the ball. The cornerback is the guy that is guarding the wide receivers, the guy that the quarterback is throwing to. So the quarterbacks are the ones who are guarding the wide receivers, and the quarterback is the guy throwing the ball. So the main goal of the defense is to tackle the players and stop a touchdown. But there's also two other possible plays on defense that you should look out for. So if a running back drops the ball, that's called a fumble. And the defense can pick up the ball and take it for their team or try to run it to the opposing end zone. Another play that you should look out for on defense is called an interception. If a defensive player catches the ball that's thrown by the quarterback, they can try to bring it back to the other end zone. And an interception will sometimes be called a pick. And if a defensive player catches the ball and brings it all the way back to the other touchdown, that's called a pick six. Pick meaning interception, and six being the number of points a touchdown's worth. So that's football for you. You can use this knowledge to impress a guy because guys love girls who love sports. Or just develop a new interest for yourself. You can support the hometown Eagles, who are on Fox every Sunday during the season, or you can follow another team like my beloved New England Patriots. Get watching, and maybe by the next Super Bowl, you will be an expert like me.